On the paper talk today, we'll be looking at Marcus Rashford versus Christian Falk. Christian Falk claiming there's a bit of a division in the dressing room. Marcus Rashford saying otherwise. We'll also be having a story about Paul Pogba. Why not? We've not had one for 12 hours. Check it out. Jay here of Stretford Paddock. This is the paper talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford where it's pretty brisk, innit? It's a bit cold. Anyway, we'll get straight into it. The big story this morning, last night, was this news or these reports that there was a bit of division in the Manchester United dressing room between the English players and Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, this came from Christian Falk. Christian Falk did a tweet where he said that the English players like Harry Maguire, Marcus Rashford and Co, I don't know who Co is, are irritated that Ronaldo wants to leave the dressing room with his own clique. There is a split at Man United. Now, that's a story in itself. Christian Falk claiming there's a bit of a split, that there's these different cliques. Now, when I hear the word cliques, I always think, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that the likes of Ronaldo, Bruno and Dalot, who are obviously Portugal teammates, Portuguese is their native tongue, are they just mates? They hang around? Are they in like their own little gang? Is that a clique? Are the likes of Rashford and Shaw and Jesse Lingard and Harry Maguire, is that a clique? I'm not so sure about all that. I'm also not so sure about the closeness of someone like Harry Maguire and Marcus Rashford. I know they're England teammates, but it doesn't seem like they're particularly close. I know that Jesse and Marcus are, and maybe there is a little bit more closeness between the likes of Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. But this idea that everyone's in a little clique, I'm not so sure about that, and I don't even know if it's necessarily as divided as some people make out. But anyway, it doesn't end there, because Marcus Rashford responded to it. He wasn't having any of it. Basically said, that this wasn't true, and he tweeted that some people will make things up to cause more division. And then Christian Falk, he quote tweeted Christian Falk. Christian Falk went back and said that Marcus Rashford's claims that it wasn't true weren't true. If that's right, yeah. So Christian Falk said it was true, Marcus Rashford said it's not true, and Christian Falk said that Marcus Rashford's not true was not true. Have we cleared all that up? No, we'll get there in the end. Anyway, I mean, Marcus Rashford's addressed it. He says this isn't true. He says there's no division. It depends whether you believe Christian Falk or Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford's in the dressing room. He says there's not an issue. And Christian Falk, who I do respect, he is a good journalist. We've had him on this channel, but he has been wrong in the past. He was wrong about Ralph Rangnick joining Manchester United. He said that wasn't true. Not true is what he said about Rangnick joining Manchester United. And then a week later he said, it is true. And my not true was not true. And one of my sources let me down. So he's not infallible. The thing with Marcus Rashford at the minute is he's not playing well. We know that. His cameo the other night against Brighton was pretty woeful, and I like Marcus Rashford, but he is out of form. But he's getting a lot of stick, and some of the stick he's getting, it's just beyond the pale. It really is. And it seems, even last night I saw people piling in on him, and it's just weird, some of the grief that this player gets. I mean, this is a player who has been at Manchester United now since he was a teenager, has played a lot of football for Manchester United, and he's still at Manchester United. Yeah, there's so many sticks used to beat him with. I saw Dan James gets a brace for Leeds. People have a go at Marcus Rashford. Players scoring for Leeds, we're having a go at Marcus Rashford. Then I saw Anthony Martial got some assists for Sevilla. People have a go at Marcus Rashford. It seems that no matter what goes on, Marcus Rashford is the one that seems to get a lot of grief, and I just don't get it. This is a guy that, okay, he's out of form, but he's famous for sticking up for people when they're struggling, and when he's struggling, everyone piles in, and it's a bit disappointing, to be honest with you. I'm just not into that. Yeah, criticise his performances. I'll do that, because I'll be honest with you, they haven't been good enough. But when you just start laying into him for everything, it just gets a bit tedious and a bit distasteful, and I wish it had just stopped. Anyway, we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if there's any more repercussions or responses from anyone. We'll see if we get a not true about the not true from the not true from Christian Falk, or anyone else wants to get involved. Maybe Harry Maguire or Luke Shaw or Cristiano Ronaldo will comment. Who knows? Anyway, let's move on to something happier. Paul Pogba leaving us for another Premier League club. Well, that's not exactly happy, is it? Yep. Reports from Mike McGrath in the Telegraph. Again, someone else who I respect, and we've had him on this channel. He says that Paul Pogba, obviously, if he doesn't sign a contract in the summer or soon or whenever, he can leave on a free, and one of the clubs he could go to could be a Premier League club. There's Premier League clubs interested, apparently, and he could be interested in going there. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that he moves to another Premier League club, which, okay, that makes sense. We kind of know that. We're just all hoping, well, I am anyway, that doesn't happen. Mike McGrath says in his report as well that I think there was a time in 2018 when Pep Guardiola, he's the Manchester City manager in case any of you don't know, said that City had been offered Pogba. That Raiola had said to City, do you want him? And they said no. And then when Pogba was asked about that, he didn't deny it. If you remember, he was asked about that a few months later, whenever it was, and he just said, I'm happy at United. He didn't say that's not true. So I just hope that, well, personally, I hope Paul Pogba stays. I don't think he will, but I'd like him to. I think he's a very good player, and I don't think we'll replace him properly. But if he does leave, which I think is more likely, I hope he doesn't go to another English club. Because let's have it right, when we talk about him going to an English club, we're not talking about him going to Watford or Villa or someone we don't care about. We're talking about him going to somewhere like Chelsea or, even worse, City. So I just hope he stays, or if he does go, he goes somewhere out of the Premier League and doesn't play against us in the Premier League, because that'd be pretty sickening. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Let's get to 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Also, check out the merchandise that we've got, and don't forget as well to check out the members section. We've got new content on there, extra content on the members section, so check that out. I've been Jay. This has been the Paper Talk outside a very windy Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.